Ukraine's French Hammer missiles are causing primal fear in the Russians. There is a certain primal fear associated with being hunted from above. Maybe it's the recurring genetic memory of our small mammal ancestors as they scurried along the forest floor. Lightning has a similarly powerful effect on the human psyche, so much so that early humans created gods like Zeus or Legong, the Chinese god of thunder, to explain the power overhead. Many of my fellow global war on terror veterans never felt that fear because we never had to look up and worry that the enemy would strike from above. Today, everything has changed. There is no guarantee that one will achieve air superiority in a given battle space, and even if we did, that term may need to be redefined now thanks to swarms of small deadly drones that have recently made their combat debut. In Ukraine, death from above is now more common than death from the front or the sides. And while drones are certainly an issue, I would be more fearful of advanced munitions striking down like a lightning bolt or a hammer. Hey friends, Wes here, multi-branch American veteran, and I was watching a video recently of a Russian soldier who narrowly escaped death when he was almost hit with a French AASM Hammer missile from above. As a former infantryman, I immediately felt that familiar anxiety in my stomach as the missile hit nearby. But after watching, I figured it was a good time to take a closer look at the French-made Hammer munition and how Ukraine has been using them to instill fear in the invaders. By the end of 2024, France had delivered 600 AASM 250 Hammer munitions to Ukraine, an impressive upgrade to Kyiv's arsenal and a persistent nail in the side of Moscow's military aspirations. These precision-guided rocket-assisted munitions, designed to turn standard dumb bombs into high-tech tools of destruction, are being sent from aging French stockpiles. While the stock shuffle is convenient for now, Paris isn't resting on its laurels. Plans to ramp up production to 1,200 in 2025 are well underway. According to the French National Assembly Defense Committee, quote, "The production of AASM bombs must be significantly accelerated in order to renew the French stocks with new munitions," end quote. In French bureaucratic terms, that's basically a war cry. First introduced to Ukraine's Air Force in January of 2024, these 500-pound class bombs boast a standoff range of approximately 43 miles or 70 kilometers. If that distance doesn't make a Russian radar operator break into a nervous sweat, the pinpoint accuracy certainly will. Comparable to the US-supplied JDAM-ER munitions already in use in Ukraine, the Hammer packs a little extra punch thanks to its rocket propulsion system. The Hammer's adaptability is another of its standout features. Designed as a modular kit, it can transform existing NATO standard bombs into guided munitions capable of day or night operations in all weather conditions. The Hammer doesn't just rely on one form of guidance, it employs a multi-mode system. GPS, internal navigation, and in some cases, infrared or laser guidance, allowing it to strike fixed and moving targets alike. This flexibility is especially critical on the Ukrainian battlefield, where Russian GPS jamming attempts have been frequent but, let's be honest, not universally effective. While most guided bombs glide to their targets, the Hammer's solid-fuel rocket motor provides an extra boost, enabling strikes from low altitudes. This point is crucial for aircraft like the Su-25 Frogfoot, which often operates dangerously close to Russia's air defenses. This booster propulsion also increases the bomb's energy on impact, making it ideal for hammering hardened targets. High five. All right. Such as bunkers or command centers. In August, a MiG-29 Fulcrum pilot gave us a front row seat to the action, capturing a cockpit view of a low-level toss bombing technique, one of the Hammer's designed uses. The footage was later shared by Ukrainian Air Force spokesman Colonel Yuri Ignat as a tribute to Alexander Muhola, the pilot who filmed it but tragically lost his life in combat shortly after. It's not just the technical specs that make the Hammer noteworthy, it's the strategic impact. The standoff range keeps Ukrainian pilots safer, and the precision reduces collateral damage. A contrast to Russia's quantity over quality approach, where they seem to aim for everything except the intended target. While the MiG-29 and the Su-27 initially hogged the Hammer spotlight, the sturdy Su-25 Frogfoot has emerged as an unlikely star. Once derided as a relic of Soviet engineering, the Frogfoot has been retrofitted to serve as an effective platform for these French munitions. If you're unfamiliar with the Frogfoot, it's basically the Soviet version of the legendary American A-10 Warthog. In fact, when the question came up as to why we don't donate our aging A-10s to Ukraine rather than retire them, I made the case that Ukraine would actually be better off with their Frogfoots, of which they have approximately 40 operational. I very rarely argue against sending Ukraine equipment, but in this case, the Frogfoot is just as capable for Ukraine's purposes. Not to mention the training on the A-10 would simply waste precious time, especially as they're integrating F-16s into their Air Force. Anyways, back to the Hammer. The Frogfoot's adaptation to carry the Hammer isn't just about bolting on new equipment, it's a testament to the ingenuity of Ukraine's military engineers. To accommodate these precision munitions, they had to integrate specialized pylons capable of housing GPS antennas and ensuring seamless guidance data transfer. The challenges didn't stop there. The Frogfoot's cockpit, designed in the analog era, has been retrofitted with modern ad hoc solutions such as tablet-like devices for targeting and mission planning. The Su-25 is a close air support workhorse, and pairing it with precision-guided munitions, like the Hammer, drastically enhances its battlefield utility, bringing it closer to its American cousin, the A-10. Instead of relying on unguided rockets and bombs, the Frogfoot can now conduct surgical strikes, minimizing the exposure of pilots to enemy air defenses while maximizing the damage inflicted on high-value Russian targets. This is particularly significant in contested areas where traditional close air support operations would be impossible, or at least very risky. The Frogfoot's Hammer transformation also puts an exclamation point on Ukraine's ability to blend Western military technology with Soviet-era platforms. This hybrid approach not only expands Ukraine's operational capabilities, but also highlights its resilience in the face of logistical and technical challenges. For every retrofitted Frogfoot, there's a corresponding headache for Russian commanders, who now face a more versatile and precise adversary. The upgraded Su-25 has already seen significant combat use, particularly in the eastern and southern fronts, where it has been deployed to strike Russian positions with precision and speed. Reports from the battlefield indicate that the Hammer-armed Frogfoot has been instrumental in disrupting supply lines, destroying ammunition depots, and neutralizing entrenched enemy positions. In one notable engagement, a Hammer-equipped Su-25 reportedly struck a Russian command post from a standoff distance, evading heavy anti-aircraft fire and delivering a crippling blow to enemy operations. As the war grinds on, the Frogfoot's evolution from a Soviet relic to a modern precision strike platform serves as a microcosm of Ukraine's broader military transformation. Still, this technological leap wouldn't be possible without the steady flow of Western military aid. France, in particular, has played a pivotal role, committing to send 50 Hammers a month since January of 2024. This steady supply has allowed Ukraine to maintain its momentum on the battlefield, forcing Moscow to adapt or at least try. As expected, Moscow's reaction to these developments has been equal parts denial and indignation. The Kremlin continues to downplay the effectiveness of Western weapons, even as footage of Russian tanks exploding with precision-lit fireworks suggests otherwise. Meanwhile, reports of Russian air defense operators frantically Googling how to intercept Hammers remain unconfirmed but highly plausible. In truth, the Russian military struggles against these advanced munitions highlight a larger issue. They're fighting yesterday's war with yesterday's tactics. Looking forward, Ukraine's integration of Western technology shows no signs of slowing. The arrival of F-16 multi-role fighters could provide yet another platform for the Hammer, streamlining its use thanks to the aircraft's advanced avionics. French Mirage 2000 jets, also slated for delivery, represent another potential upgrade to Kyiv's air power. For now, though, the Su-25 Frogfoot, once a symbol of Soviet brute force, has become a surprising centerpiece of Ukraine's air campaign. Retrofitted and armed with precision-guided hammers, it's a big difference from Russia's floundering air force, which often seems more interested in bombing empty fields than hitting strategic targets. Seriously, according to Russian military bloggers critical of their military bureaucracy, Fighter Bomber, a prominent aviation-focused Z channel on Telegram, said, quote, "One column on the slide shows the number of bombs dropped on the enemy. That is the column the bosses focus on. They don't care about the other columns. In order to have visually appealing slides filled with attractive graphs of bombs dropped, our Russian bombs are launched solely to meet the quantity set by the commanders. As a result, they're often dropped on outdated targets, places where the enemy was not just an hour ago, but perhaps the day before, or maybe even longer. Who knows?" End quote. Wow. Sounds like Ukraine's greatest ally is actually Russian bureaucracy. And as for those French bombs, well, let's just say they're making quite the impression on Russian targets and Kremlin egos alike. That's it for today, friends. Subscribing really helps me continue to fight Russian disinformation, which is especially important now with a global rise in authoritarianism. The more subscribers this channel has, the more time I can devote to producing this content. Anyways, that's all from me, and as always, glory to Ukraine, glory to the heroes. Crimea is Ukraine.